David Sirota of the International Business Times pointed out some overwhelming hypocrisy when it comes to fiscal discipline in America. So one of the most common criticisms of Bernie Sanders is, well, come on, how's he going to pay for it? How can we possibly afford something like universal health care and universal college and all this spending that actually helps the people? Fuck that. We got to use our money for stupid shit. Well, those questions are nowhere to be found when it comes to Republican debates and how we're going to afford endless war and how we're going to afford corporate welfare and things of that nature. But there's also another gigantic area where the question was never asked. The bailout of Wall Street, the bailout of the big banks. And the history of that and how much money we actually spent to bail them out is something I didn't even know. And the number is so gigantic that we could have afforded to do almost anything for the American people, no questions asked, if we just spent this money on us instead. So, how much money was spent on the Wall Street bailout during the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession? They say, quote, a new report by Bloomberg Markets Magazine details trillions of dollars in secret federal loans made to the big banks during the 2008 financial crisis, a process that helped them rake in billions of dollars in undisclosed profits. The Federal Reserve did a breathtaking $7.7 trillion bank bailout. That dwarfs the Treasury Department's better-known $700 billion Troubled Asset Relief Program, the TARP bailout. That's unbelievable. I didn't even know that was the case. $7.7 trillion bank bailout. So, let's stop and think about this. You have to bail out Wall Street, to bail out people who made shitty decisions which bankrupted their own companies and crashed the economy with it. To bail out them, blank check, and oh yeah, by the way, this isn't just to prop you up. You can also take billions in profits even though you failed miserably. It's like getting a bonus when you're the worst player in the NBA. Hey, here's a few $1,000,000 extra. I didn't score a single point this season or block a single shot. I suck. Here's money anyway. That's what happened here. $7.7 trillion. And then mix in the Iraq War too, as I always tell you guys, when you include how much it'll cost up to the year 2053, when you include the interest on the money we borrowed for the war, that will cost us $7 trillion. So $14.7 trillion we can spend on endless unnecessary war and bank bailouts when they failed on their own merits, and the capitalist position is supposed to be, hey, tough cookies, you fucked up, you fail. That's the end of the conversation. We can spend $14.7 trillion on those things, but universal health care and universal education, oh, how are we going to pay for it? Oh my God, this wacky socialist doesn't even make sense. It's too expensive. We can't justify it. We got too big of a deficit. What are you talking about? This is crazy. No. If you're somebody who has ever argued that we can't afford universal health care, we can't afford universal education, when, by the way, almost every other modern nation has those things. Every other one does have health care. Many of them have education. If you've argued that at any point, you've drunk the Kool-Aid, because you've been deceived, you've been duped, you've been had, you've been took, and you don't know the facts, you don't know the real numbers and what we really spend our money on. $14.7 trillion on a bailout that should have went to the people, not to the institutions, not to the establishment, not to Wall Street, not to subsidize bonuses and salaries for CEOs who suck at their job. If you were going to do a bailout of the people. No. Because of the legalized bribery and the corruption in the system and just the pure, plain old stupidity, we can spend $14.7 trillion on endless war and bank bailouts, and we don't have dick for you. So you pay your taxes, and when you say, hey, shouldn't this go towards something I want it to go towards, like college and healthcare? Shut the fuck up. We're using this money to kill random brown people and bail out people who are the biggest failures in our entire system who have political connections. all the money in the world, a blank check for that shit, for you, www.shutthefuckup.com, you're not gonna be able to decide how you can spend, or we should spend, our own money and how we should prioritize. This is how grotesque and disgusting and rotting and corrupt our system is.